Hey, it's Yay for Yarn, and today I'm going to show you how to begin your crochet with a magic circle. So a magic loop is a kind of a little trick for beginning a project in the round, such as a hat. This works only for projects that start in the center of a circle and work out from there. So if you are making like a tube in the round, this is not the same, this is not the technique for that. But if you are doing something like a hat or a crocheted flower or anything where you want to start in the very center of a circle and work out from there in the round, the magic circle is a great way to start out your work. So let me show you why this is better than the normal version of how to start in this type of situation. So normally we would start by chaining 3 or 4 stitches, slip stitch into the first chain to make a little ring, and then we would either chain 3 for a turning chain, or we could do what I like to do, which is the chainless starting double crochet. And I'm just using double crochet in this example, but this technique is also used for other types of stitches. So this is my chainless starting double crochet. If you are not familiar with that stitch and you want to go check it out, then go ahead and see the link in the description box, because I do have several videos on how to do this. It makes a huge difference in the look of your project. And anyway, normally with the regular technique, we would crochet all of our stitches for this round into the center of the ring. So let's say this is where we're going to stop, and this is what the normal technique would look like. Now we would normally join this with some kind of joining stitch into the top of the first stitch. I like the invisible slip stitch. Again, see my other chainless starting stitch videos for that. But some patterns would normally join with a regular slip stitch. And there's nothing wrong with this method other than you get a hole in the middle of the work where you started. And in some cases this wouldn't be a big deal, but if you like to avoid the hole in the center, or if you do amigurumi especially, which is basically crocheting stuffed toys, you don't want a hole in the top because it could leak stuffing out the hole. So I'm going to show you another way to do it, which is the magic circle. So this is the normal way to start out when you're working in the round, starting from the center out. But the magic circle is kind of a roundabout way of doing the same thing, except we can avoid that hole in the middle. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a loop of yarn, like so, just like we were beginning to make a slip knot. And then we're going to basically, here's our loop of yarn. We're going to bring another loop up through the center, which is just like making a slip knot, only we're not going to pull it tight. So I'm going to place this loop on my hook. So now that we have this ring of yarn in the middle, we can either work a starting chain, or if you prefer the chainless starting double crochet or chainless starting stitches like I do, if you were to work a chainless starting stitch directly into the center of this hole, then it would fall apart because your yarn is already coming out of the center of the hole. So what we do to compensate for that is we make one chain stitch, pull it really tight, like so, and then work the chainless starting stitch. And that allows us to use the chainless starting stitch in conjunction with the magic loop method without, without making that chainless starting stitch fall apart when we work into the center of this circle. So now we would go ahead and continue working our stitches for this first round into the center of this circle, or rather we're basically working the stitches around this strand of yarn that makes the loop. or this circle part right here is basically what we would call the magic loop. But instead of working like the other one, we worked into the center of the chain loop. We are basically working around this strand of yarn that creates the loop. Alright, so now I have 12 stitches here. It would depend on your pattern and what your pattern calls for. So now that we have our stitches for the round, we're going to take the yarn tail, and this is the magic part, and we're going to pull on it. And we're going to pull on it really tight until that entire hole in the middle is completely gone. It disappears. And all that's left is a tiny, tiny, tiny little hole that you can't really even see. So normally what I would do is I would take this tail after we've pulled it tight, and then I would take my yarn needle and make a little knot to secure the tail so that it doesn't come undone. And I would basically just pick up a little strand of yarn with my yarn needle, wrap the yarn around the needle, and then pull it through to make a knot, and pull it really tight. So then that's secured, and it cannot get stretched out to make the hole any larger. And then I would either weave in that tail or crochet over it as I worked in the round. So if we look at these two together, obviously if we were working in the round, we would either start working in a continuous spiral or join with some kind of joining stitch to the first stitch of the round. But if we just look at the hole in the middle, you can totally see which one looks better, because this one has this hole in the middle that you can see, and this one does not. So if you are working any kind of project where you want to eliminate the hole in the middle of your ring, or if you are working amigurumi especially, and you don't want any stuffing to leak out through this little hole, then definitely the magic circle method is a better option. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you've ever tried the magic circle method in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, making sure you click the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks for watching.